It's time for America Outdoors Radio, the show that covers the outdoor scene across the U.S. of A. and the entire continent. Fishing, hunting, conservation, outdoor recreation, and great destinations. We cover it all every week. It's your country, your outdoors. Let's explore it together with your host, John Kruse.
Welcome aboard. 2020 has been a rough year in America, and it's no secret our economy is taking a beating too. But I was still surprised to read the news last week that Evinrude, the makers of outboard boat motors, ever since Ole Evinrude invented them in 1907, they are dead and gone. The parent company of Evinrude, BRP, announced it was shutting down the plant in Wisconsin where outboard motors have been made for a long time. And 387 employees, they're now out of jobs. Personally, I think it's a crying shame because Evinrude has always made some very good, high-quality outboards that often last longer than their owners do. Here's wishing the best to those workers from Evinrude. I hope you land on your feet. On a happier note, congratulations are in order to Jonathan Pierce from Roxborough, PA. Jonathan reeled in a record-breaking flathead catfish from the Schuylkill River near Philadelphia last Sunday. The Fishing Wire and Penn Live report Pierce, an avid catfish angler, caught the massive 56.3-pound flathead using trout heads for bait. Pierce's fish, once certified by the state of Pennsylvania, will beat the existing record by nearly 6 pounds. Sticking with catfish, the Cabela's King Cat Tournament Series is underway again, and they had a tournament at Lake Wateree near Camden, South Carolina last Saturday. Anglers from 7 states to include Pennsylvania traveled there to compete, and Bobby Brown, the tournament director for the Cabela's King Cat Tournament Series, will join us towards the end of the program to tell you who came out on top. We'll take you from South Carolina to Austin, Texas today. That's where Aaron Reed lives, and he's going to tell you about the Blue Collar Fly Fishing Variety Show you can tune in today if you're a Saturday listener, which promises to be a fun production. Aaron's also going to tell you about his new book, Fly Fishing Austin and Central Texas, and about some of the waters worth fishing here for trout and bass and panfish the next time you come this way for business or for pleasure. We'd also like to remind you again about our $600 fishing giveaway we're doing on Facebook. Just go to our America Outdoors Radio Facebook page and post any picture of any fish you've caught since May 22nd on the thread where we're doing this giveaway. If you want to tell us where you caught it, that'd be great too, but it's not required. Just post a picture of any fish, whatever species. Just has to be 8 inches or longer, and you are entered for a chance to win one of 4 fabulous prizes we're giving away. The top prize is a $400 plus ultralite float tube from Wilderness Light that you will love for fishing, especially backcountry lakes. We are also giving away tackle packages from Christensen's Lakeshore Tackle, from Max Lure, and from TTI Blakemore. No matter what type of fishing you do, we've got something for you. You can enter once a week until June 30th, and we will randomly draw winners from all the people who submit pictures on July 1st. So, get to fishing, take some pictures, go to our America Outdoors Radio Facebook page, and enter for your chance to win. What else do we have for you? How about an invitation to a virtual conference being put on by the Outdoor Writers Association of America? You don't have to be a professional, full-time outdoors writer, photographer, or videographer to get something out of this. Oh no, part-time or even amateur bloggers, social media video producers, anyone who loves photographing flora and fauna in the outdoors, and those who have always wondered about how you go about getting a book or article published, there's something, many things in fact, here for you. Chez Chesak, the executive director of OWAA, will join us in the hour ahead to tell you more about this opportunity, one that I don't think you'll want to miss. As you can see, we're covering fishing, we're covering outdoors communication, and now it's time to cover something else, and that would be hunting. Our first guest today is Jessica Treglia. She is the senior brand manager for Savage Arms, and they've got a brand new rifle you have got to know about. It's the Model 110 Ultralite. Jessica, glad to have you on the air.
Thanks. Glad to be here.
So whenever it comes to a bolt-action hunting rifle, weight is really important, especially if you're a backcountry hunter or a high-elevation hunter. And the first question everyone asks, and it's the one I'm going to ask too, just how light is the Model 110 Ultralight?
It's going to vary by caliber because the barrel lengths are also different, but they're going to come in at 6 pounds for the Wisms and the Magnums, and then just under that, so down to 5.8 pounds for some of the short-action calibers.
What are some of the features of the Model 110, and how were you able to whittle this down to basically make it a functional rifle but keep it so light?
So the obvious feature set that we've got is that we teamed up with Proof Research. So we crafted a barrel specific for this 110 Ultralight for a mountain type of firearm. So you can see that there. It is a carbon fiber wrapped barrel, stainless steel, threaded muzzle. But what we also did is we have our lightweight receiver, which is skeletonized to reduce weight, and spiral fluting on the bolt body for additional lightweight. The stock itself has our AccuFit technology as well as overmold surfaces, so you still have that tacky texture that you can get in order to grip your rifle in any elements, and you can customize the fit for yourself as well.
Speaking of the stock, does it come in different colors?
Right now, it only comes in the gray with black accents, but I'm sure if you keep an eye out, there will be some extensions out there on the market.
All right. I cut you off. Was there more you wanted to say about some of the features?
No, I was just going to talk about the variety of calibers that we have. It goes anywhere from 308 all the way up to 28 Nosler. We have some of those Magnums I mentioned earlier, the 300 Wisdom. 6.5 PRC has been a hot caliber for us since that came out, and then the ever-popular 6.5 Creedmoor. But then you have some more traditional hunting calibers that we also chamber it in, which is 270 Winchester and 30-06 Springfield, and then 280 Ackley, which we added to our assortment about a year ago, and it's done really well for us.
Nice. That was actually my next question, was about the calibers and which ones were the most popular. So thanks for that information. A question, though, when it comes to ultralight rifles, I hear a lot of complaints about the recoil, that it's really hard to manage the recoil on a really light rifle. Is that an issue that you think hunters are going to have, or have you addressed that in making this rifle?
We've actually pretty much addressed that. So it's not getting down under 5 pounds where a lot of some of these new mountain lightweight rifles are, which is nice to carry, but if you need a second follow-up shot, you're really in a tough scenario there with recoil and then acquiring your target a second time. But I can tell you from experience in shooting this one as well as some other rifles we have that are up around 7 pounds, which is more traditional, I don't really notice a different felt recoil. It's balanced very well, so especially something like a 6.5 Creedmoor, minimal recoil for such a light rifle.
Jessica, one feature I think we should talk about is the AccuTrigger. I know that's a pretty big deal. Why don't you tell our listeners about that?
So the 110 Ultralight does have our popular user-adjustable AccuTrigger, which allows for crisp, clean shots so that you get a successful hunt. The bonus about this Ultralight, too, is that the trigger itself is adjustable from 1.5 pounds up to 4 pounds. So it's lighter than our standard 2.5 to 6 pounds.
Well, it sounds like a fantastic rifle to have, especially if you're a backcountry hunter. When and where can folks get their hands on the new Model 110 Ultralight?
So the great news is they should already be in stores. We've been shipping the 110 Ultralight for quite a few months now, and the retail price is $14.99, but check with your local dealer or retailer to see what they've got it for.
It's the Model 110 Ultralight from Savage Arms. Check it out. Sounds like a great rifle, especially if you're a backcountry hunter. Jessica, thanks for sharing this with us today on America Outdoors Radio.
Thanks for having me.
Before we head to a commercial break, there's one more thing I'd like to share with you. This week marks the 4-year anniversary of our show. We launched back in early June of 2016, and that coincided with my retirement as a police officer. I was a police officer for 24 years in Central Washington, and I really enjoyed my career and the people I worked with. But I've got to tell you, this is not a political show. We don't really get into these social issues. But what happened in Minneapolis to George Floyd, that was absolutely wrong. There's no justification for what that officer did who knelt on his neck and killed him. There's no justification for the 3 officers that stood by and did nothing to intervene. As far as I'm concerned, all 4 of them belong in prison, and for the man who killed George Floyd, life in prison would be a just sentence. My prayers go out to the friends and family of George Floyd and to our United States of America, that we may find peace and healing, both of which appear to be in short supply as we look back on the week behind us. Stick around. We've got more for you on America Outdoors Radio, and we're getting back to the outdoors right after this short break.
Immerse yourself in a complete Alaska wilderness experience through Sportsman's Cove Lodge. Up to 6 of you will spend a week in a beautiful waterfront log home in a secluded cove. Every day is a new adventure. Go on a guided fishing trip or haul in a bounty of shrimp and crab. Visit a Native American village where totem poles are carved. Go on a whale or bear watching trip and return back to your very own place at the end of the day. Find out more about the Alaska Wilderness Experience at alaskasbestlodge.com. That's alaskasbestlodge.com.
Are you looking to reel in the marketing opportunity of a lifetime? Then set the hook, because we've got it right here for you. America Outdoors Radio has sponsorships available, and we offer affordable platforms to reach thousands of listeners interested in fishing, hunting, and the outdoors. Find out more by contacting John Kruse through his website at americaoutdoorsradio.com. That's americaoutdoorsradio.com. Hurry, though. If you wait too long, the big opportunity might just get away. americaoutdoorsradio.com.
The Dalles in Oregon is your base camp for fishing fun. Reel in big salmon, tangle with steelhead, bass, and walleye, or wrestle a monster sturgeon to the boat. After the day is done, you'll find a variety of lodging options around town. Need to resupply? We've got you covered with sporting goods stores plus great dining, breweries, wineries, and can't-miss attractions like the Gorge Discovery Center. Plan your fishing getaway today at explorethedalles.com. That's explorethedalles.com.
Backcountry Hunters and Anglers is the voice for your public lands, waters, and wildlife. From the Canadian Yukon to the Florida Everglades, we're stepping up to conserve North America's public lands, defend our hunting and fishing traditions, and expand public access to the outdoors. Our outdoor heritage depends on sportsmen and women like you speaking up for the natural resources that sustain our way of life. Find out how you can get involved at backcountryhunters.org and become a BHA member today.
You're back in with America Outdoors Radio, and now it's time for something completely different. If you're tuning in as a Saturday listener, go ahead and carve out some time between 5:30 and 7 o'clock tonight Central Time. I want you to go to this website. It's heartwoodtrade.com/live. heartwoodtrade.com/live. When you get there, you're going to get to watch the Blue Collar Fly Fishing Variety Show that's taking place in Central Texas. With us here to tell you more about it is Aaron Reed. Aaron, it's great to have you on the air.
Hey, John, great to be here. Thanks for having me.
So when I think of a variety show, I think of like the Carol Burnett show. Is this a show that's going to have funny sketches and maybe somebody coming on to sing or maybe some talent, or is it a little different than that?
No, I think that actually kind of sums it up. I honestly don't know. We've never done one before, but we will have someone coming on to sing, and I assume that we'll get a little bit goofy during the thing. This is a celebration of the Central Texas fly fishing community, really, is what it comes down to.
You know, don't take this the wrong way, but a lot of folks take serious fly anglers as very serious-minded folks who spend a lot of time at a fly tying vise and don't interact very well socially. So the fact that you're putting on a variety show, there's going to be some humor involved, this is a little different.
Well, I think the fact that it's a virtual variety show kind of gives it away right there, because you're right. I mean, fly anglers are typically, I wouldn't say we're antisocial, but it is the original social distancing activity, right? I think that if we really enjoyed hanging out with a whole bunch of other people, would all be bowling or playing softball.
Yeah, you got a great point there. Let's talk about another reason folks might want to tune into this variety show, and that is because you're doing some really nice giveaways. Tell our listeners about that.
We are. We're giving away 5 books and some other really cool stuff, including some Texas whiskey and some gift cards to some handmade landing nets and some custom-tied flies that work well in Central Texas and other places. And this is all courtesy of makers, people who are part of the fly fishing community here in Central Texas.
And by the way, folks, Heartwood Trade, when you go to heartwoodtrade.com, you're going to find some absolutely gorgeous fishing nets or landing nets there that are tailor-made for fly anglers. You're going to just go gaga when you see these things. Now, something else folks ought to go gaga for is your book. I've got a review copy here, Fly Fishing Austin in Central Texas. This is your first book, is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. I've been writing for magazines and newspapers for decades, but this is the first book-length project.
Well, I'll tell you what, you've knocked it out of the park in terms of the way it's laid out, the photography you have, all color photography, folks. It's a really nice book. It's chock full of information. Why don't you tell our listeners what they're going to find in it when they open up Fly Fishing Austin in Central Texas?
Well, John, I appreciate the kind words. Inside the book, you'll find 49 detailed route descriptions, more than 100 legal access points, to a total of about 18 streams within an hour or so of downtown Austin. And we also include lots of information about, the flora and fauna, some local history, and for newcomers to the sport or people just getting back into fly fishing, how to get started in fly fishing. We wanted this book to be useful for folks who live here, of course, people who've been fishing for a while, people getting into the sport, but also for folks who are flying in for something like South by Southwest, thankfully canceled this year,
right? Or
the Austin City Limits Festival, or a business meeting. And we get lots of visitors from the Pacific Northwest coming into Austin and pack a fly rod, and you can probably walk to one of the destinations in the book. You can certainly catch an Uber or a Lyft down there.
And that's exactly what I was thinking when I read this book, was that this would be a great resource for anybody traveling to Austin or Central Texas to take with them, because you've done all the homework for the reader. They know exactly where to go. One thing that stands out to me, well, actually two things. Number one, I think most people around America, if you asked them about fly fishing destinations, Central Texas doesn't exactly rise to the top as top of mind awareness, if you know what I'm saying. But you've got some pretty good fly fishing down there, and we're not just talking trout, are we?
No, we do have a trout stream. It's the southernmost year-round trout fishery in America, and it's a tailwater. But we also have, some really terrific year-round warm water opportunities, and we have a couple of endemic species that's the only place in the world you can catch these fish in their native habitat. And the rivers are surprisingly beautiful. A good friend of mine who is a biologist for one of the native tribes on the Olympic Peninsula sent me a picture the other day of himself lounging alongside the Upper Dungeness River with a copy of my book. And, of course, that's a gorgeous river, and he was sitting there reading about our gorgeous rivers. So they're different, but they're beautiful and well worth anyone's time.
Lots of opportunities, folks, for panfish and largemouth bass and smallmouth bass. So tell our listeners a little bit about the Guadalupe River and the trout that are found in this stream.
So the Guadalupe River is one of our classic hill country streams. And back in the 1960s, when they constructed a reservoir, they realized that this deep lake that they were building, the water coming out of the dam, was going to be too cold to support most of our warm water, our native species. So as early as the early 70s, they began thinking about putting trout in this tailwater. And in fact, the state and the nation's largest TU chapter, Guadalupe River Trout Unlimited, both stock rainbow and brown trout in the tailwater. And some of these fish survive year to year and get older and more beautiful and bigger every year. And there is some evidence of some limited reproduction as well. And so we've got usually 8 to 12 miles of water that will support trout year round. It's just a neat place to fish for trout, and it's a good schoolhouse for any tailwater in America. It's the fishing's very similar.
How heavily pressured is this stream? I mean, it is the only game in town for trout, and it is the southernmost stream in America that has trout. Does it get really crowded?
It can get really crowded. Locals who have the opportunity and the flexibility to fish during the week, that's when we go. During the summer, the water gets a little bit warmer, and we try to leave the fish alone for the most part, or at least not target them and fish for other species. But that's also when we have a lot of tubers floating in the river, and so we try to avoid the tube hatch. And, and that's more common in the shoulder seasons in the late spring and early fall when we may be switching back to trout, and the tubers may still be on the water. But during the wintertime, which is really the time when we really focus on the quad, the tubers are mostly off the water, and you can get out there and have some days when you're the only angler you see. And then if you go on a weekend, you may be shoulder to shoulder in some places. Not quite shoulder to shoulder. It's not combat fishing, but it can get a little tight.
Gotcha. Well, unfortunately, we have to go. But folks, again, this is a gem of a book. Fly Fishing Austin in Central Texas. If you're heading down that way, you'll want to have this book with you along with a fly rod and take in some of the opportunities to catch some fish while you're visiting this part of the country. And again, if you are listening to this show on Saturday, be sure to tune in to the Blue Collar Fly Fishing Variety Show. It's going to live stream at heartwoodtrade.com/live from 5:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. Central Time today. That's 5:30 to 7 p.m. Central Time today at heartwoodtrade.com/live for the Blue Collar Fly Fishing Variety Show. Aaron, thank you so much for sharing this with us today, and have fun during the show.
Hey, John, thanks a lot. Hope to see you there.
In today's world, violent crime can victimize anyone at any time. When it's your time, will you be able to protect yourself and your loved ones? For your personal protection, I recommend training at Front Sight, the world's premier firearms training facility located near Las Vegas, Nevada. And due to our relationship with Front Sight's founder and director, Dr. Ignatius Piazza, I've arranged for you and your family to train there too, free of charge. Yes, it's true. In your internet browser, enter frontsight.com/outdoors to secure a $2,000 4-day defensive handgun course absolutely free of charge with no hidden surprises or catches. Enter frontsight.com/outdoors. After your first course at Front Sight, you'll leave with skills that surpass 99% of the gun-owning population, guaranteed. Nobody does it better than Front Sight, but you must act before these free courses are all taken. Secure your free 4-day course at frontsight.com/outdoors. See you at Front Sight. You're back in with America Outdoors Radio. I'm John Kruse, and I want to tell you about something that you really ought to attend. If you have any interest at all in communicating about the outdoors, I'm not necessarily talking about writing for newspapers or magazines, but maybe it's always been on your bucket list to write a book. Maybe you like to record video with your cell phone and put it on Facebook or Instagram. Maybe you like to write a blog. If you do, the OWAA virtual conference is for you. It's taking place June 26th and 27th, and with us here on the line is the Executive Director for the Outdoor Writers Association of America, Chez Chesak. Chez, it's great to have you on the air.
Great to be here. Thanks for the opportunity.
So, Chez, you're coming at us today from Cincinnati, Ohio. Why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about OWAA as an organization?
Yeah, it's a great organization, founded in 1927, so we've been around for going on 100 years now. And yeah, it's really just a community of outdoor communicators, be they writers, photographers, videographers, bloggers, anyone who's really passionate about the outdoors and sharing those stories about the outdoors.
You know, our normal conferences take place in cities, and they're sponsored by tourism bureaus. Quite often they'll take place at a nice resort. For example, we were scheduled to meet at the Jay Peak Resort in Vermont later this month, but because of COVID-19, that's been canceled. Now, these conferences we've had in the past, pretty much exclusively just members showing up. But this virtual conference that we're having now because of COVID-19, this is a real opportunity for non-members to attend at really little cost and get a lot out of it.
Definitely, yeah. Part of our mission is really to kind of foment the next generation of outdoor communicators. And we thought this is a great opportunity for someone to get to know us a little bit, see what our programming is all about, see what our content and our deliverables the things that we can bring to someone to help inspire them and hopefully with their development of their craft and their outdoor storytelling. So we're really excited to be able to open this up to outdoor storytellers around the world, really. It's virtual. Anybody could sign up and tune in.
So let's talk about the mechanics of how this is going to work. You sign up and register, and folks will tell you how to do that in just a couple of minutes. And on the appointed day, I presume you go to a certain website and you start watching this as a live stream. Is that correct?
We'll actually have an app just for the event. Once they register, they can download the app. That'll give them a lot of information, different ways to connect with other attendees and things like that. Maybe even some fun and games along the way via the app. They can sign up for different sessions there. And then when the session happens, then there'll be different links for whatever session that somebody wants to attend. So much like a regular conference, there might be a keynote that we all attend, and then breakout sessions that people can go check out depending on what their interest areas are.
Well, and I want to talk about some of the specific presentations. And again, this is with a mind towards folks that are not members, but could get a lot out of this. For example, if you're listening today and you've always wondered, what it takes to write for a major magazine, we've got to meet the editors section with some really high-profile editors that are going to be giving some advice about that, don't we?
Yeah, it's something that we do pretty regularly via our members-only magazine, but then also a conference like this where we're really trying to bring key editors in front of our members, and in this case, of course, non-members too, who can say, we're really looking for this type of story right now. Not that kind, not that we just covered that, so we need some more of this, and really give them kind of nuts and bolts information on their pitches, their direct pitches, be it subject matter, how to pitch them, when to pitch them, and oftentimes their contact information to actually pitch them directly themselves.
There's another presentation, Different Routes to Book Publishing. And folks, I don't care what kind of book you're looking at writing. If you have a dream of writing a book and getting it published, and that was a dream I had, I did it. It's a steep learning curve. It's not like you just go ahead and decide to write the book, write the whole thing, and then try to get it published. It doesn't work that way at all. Who's giving this presentation, Jez?
And this is where you really see the benefit of an association like ours, where someone can really tap into what I call the collective knowledge base. So on this session, we've got a couple of our members who have published their own books, who have maybe gone some different, maybe sometimes unexpected routes, and now they're able to share that experience so that someone who's new to the situation, or maybe has already published a book before, but they can learn from these other experienced authors, just different avenues, different tips and techniques, maybe tricks to kind of get their next book published and hopefully sell a lot of copies.
Absolutely. Another presentation that I thought was just great that anybody could benefit from, taking video, editing it on your cell phone. I mean, everybody's got a cell phone. Lots and lots of people like to take video, post it on social media, but let's be honest, a lot of that stuff out there isn't necessarily really fun to watch. The quality can be pretty bad. Attending this session can really up your level of expertise and up your game, huh?
Exactly. And again, this is a situation where we have a subject matter expert. We're able to bring them and put them in front of all the attendees and hopefully just share that information. So I know I'm really excited about that presentation. Also, the mirrorless camera introduction is another one I'm really interested in. I'm not a real photographer, but I love photography, and so I'm really interested in learning about the next generation of cameras that are out there.
Speaking of photography, something that we've done every conference, and I'm really glad it's going to happen at this one too, is the photo scavenger hunt. Let me tell you how this works, folks. My first conference was in Billings, Montana. And what happens is you register, and anybody, whether they're a professional photographer or not, can register for the photo scavenger hunt. And you're just giving broad categories. So in Billings, Montana, one category was beer. Another category was chrome. And you as a photographer decide what kind of picture you're going to take to highlight that, and then you go ahead and submit it to the judges. And you're allowed to submit one photo per category. So I followed around a photographer for the beer photo, which I believe he won second place. We literally walked into a bar in Billings, Montana, and there was a dog sitting at the bar with a beer in front of him, and that was an absolutely awesome photograph that won. For the category of chrome, right next to where our conference was, there was a classic car rally that was going on, or a car show, and somebody went up to a 57 Chevy and took a photograph of the sunset reflecting off the chrome hubcap to win first place in that. So this is something you can participate into. Don't know what the categories are going to be. This is a ton of fun, but best of all, Chez, is at the end of this, they show a lot of these photos and they give critiques on how the photographers can do even better. This is just great stuff.
Yeah, and again, this is where someone can really tap into that collective knowledge base within the organization, really just learn and absorb and hopefully ultimately up their game, be it writing, photography, videography, whatever.
Chez, what else is going on at this conference folks ought to know about?
Well, we're going to be announcing our annual awards, so that's something that's always really exciting to see who's bringing home top prizes in the various categories that we have. We've got an online auction, so there'll be all sorts of different outdoor gear and services and different things that people can bid on there. We're also going to have a fair number of sponsors who will be out there promoting their product and letting people know about some of the latest, greatest things out there. Currently, we've got the National Shooting Sports Foundation is one of our sponsors, and they do some great work. And also a new sponsor, I'm happy to announce the Guyana Tourism Authority. Guyana is a country in Latin America that is fantastic for birding, and they're really looking to get out there and get in front of our members a little bit more.
And that highlights something else about this organization, folks. The wide variety of interests that are involved with this. Everything from bird watching to the shooting sports to fishing to climbing to hiking to camping. When it comes to the outdoors, everybody is welcome under this tent at the Outdoor Writers Association of America. And hopefully, after people attend this, even as non-members, they'll see the benefit and they'll join our organization. We're over 500 members strong. We are the premier Outdoor Writers and Outdoor Communicators Association in North America. What's the website we send folks to, and what's the cost for non-members to attend?
The website is owaa.org, and then you can just go to the 2020 conference area, and all the information will be there. For what we like to call soon-to-be members to register, that's $115 until June 8. That's our early bird pricing. So after June 8, that price is going to go up a little bit.
All right, so you're going to want to hop on this if you want to get that $20 discount. Again, the website, owaa.org. That's owaa.org for the Outdoor Writers Association of America. Make plans now to attend the first virtual conference our organization is having June 26th and 27th, and you are going to learn a lot for not a lot of money. Make plans to attend this. Don't miss it at all if you have any inclination to become a better outdoors communicator, no matter how you do it. Chez, thanks so much for sharing this with us today.
Immerse yourself in a complete Alaska wilderness experience through Sportsman's Cove Lodge. Up to 6 of you will spend a week in a beautiful waterfront log home in a secluded cove. Every day is a new adventure. Go on a guided fishing trip or haul in a bounty of shrimp and crab. Visit a Native American village where totem poles are carved. Go on a whale or bear watching trip and return back to your very own place at the end of the day. Find out more about the Alaska Wilderness Experience at alaskasbestlodge.com. That's alaskasbestlodge.com.
The Dalles in Oregon is your base camp for fishing fun. Reel in big salmon, tangle with steelhead, bass, and walleye, or wrestle a monster sturgeon to the boat. After the day is done, you'll find a variety of lodging options around town. Need to resupply? We've got you covered with sporting goods stores plus great dining, breweries, wineries, and can't-miss attractions like the Gorge Discovery Center. Plan your fishing getaway today at explorethedalles.com. That's explorethedalles.com.
Hunting and fishing are exercises in hope. Before you head into the woods, you hope to tag out on a deer you'll have to field dress. Before you make that first cast, you hope for a big fish to clean and fillet. When your hopes are realized, you'll need a sharp knife. Whether you sharpen that blade on a power sharpener in the shop or a manual sharpener in the field, Work Sharp has the tool for you. Look for Work Sharp products in sporting goods stores near you or online at worksharptools.com.
Sportsman's Warehouse is America's premier outfitter and has what you need as a hunter, angler, hiker, paddler, camper, and outdoors enthusiast. They also carry an extensive assortment of firearms and ammunition you simply can't find anymore at many big box stores. On top of that, their knowledgeable staff is here to help you purchase the right gear so you can get the most out of your outdoor experience. Visit your local Sportsman's Warehouse store today or shop online anytime at sportsmans.com.
In today's world, violent crime can victimize anyone at any time. When it's your time, will you be able to protect yourself and your loved ones? For your personal protection, I recommend training at Front Sight, the world's premier firearms training facility located near Las Vegas, Nevada. And due to our relationship with Front Sight's founder and director, Dr. Ignatius Piazza, I've arranged for you and your family to train there too, free of charge. Yes, it's true. In your internet browser, enter frontsight.com/outdoors to secure a $2,000 4-day defensive handgun course absolutely free of charge with no hidden surprises or catches. Enter frontsight.com/outdoors. After your first course at Front Sight, you'll leave with skills that surpass 99% of the gun-owning population, guaranteed. Nobody does it better than Front Sight, but you must act before these free courses are all taken. Secure your free 4-day course at frontsight.com/outdoors. See you at Front Sight. Welcome back to America Outdoors Radio. I'm John Kruse, and this portion of the show is brought to you by our friends at WorkSharp. They're the ones that make those manual and electric knife sharpeners that you can find in hardware stores, department stores, and sporting goods stores all over America. You can also find them online at worksharptools.com. And there's a reason you might want to buy them there. It's because I've got a deal for you. If you go shopping at worksharptools.com, before you check out, make sure you use the coupon code RADIO. Just type in the word radio as a coupon code, and when you do, you will get 30% off your entire order plus free shipping. This could equate to like a 40-50% discount when all is said and done. Again, just use the coupon code RADIO when you go shopping for knife and tool sharpeners that you can use in the kitchen, in the shop, or in the field from WorkSharp. The website, one more time, worksharptools.com. Next up on America Outdoors Radio, we are going to check in with Bobby Brown. He's the tournament director for the Cabela's King Cat Tournament Series. They are back to fishing again. Their first event was at Truman Lake in Missouri back on the 23rd. And last Saturday, they were fishing Lake Wateree near Camden, South Carolina. Bobby, it's great to have you on the air.
Nice to be here, John.
Well, it's nice to talk tournament fishing again. It's been a long time since any of us have been able to do that. Let's talk a little bit about this latest tournament near Camden, South Carolina. How many anglers did you have for this event, and how many states were they from?
We had 16 teams fish, and they was from 7 states, so we had a good amount of travelers involved with this tournament.
So these numbers are a little bit lower than usual. Is this just because there's still a lot of, residue from stay-at-home issues in a lot of states right now?
I think it's a combination of a few things with this tournament. That there's still a lot of people that's unemployed or nervous about what their future lies with their jobs, and we had some extremely high water at this tournament that probably some locals didn't fish because of that.
Well, and I want to talk about that. Not only did you have some really high water, you actually had a lot of debris in the water, too. What did that do for the fishing? I'm like the locals. I probably would have stayed out of the water if the conditions were like that.
A lot of these guys, they're used to it. They fish a lot, and it happens at times. But it does change what happens. I mean, it changes where you can launch from, where you can get to. Some bridges you couldn't get under, so you'd have to pull out and relaunch on the other side if you're just going to fish that area. I mean, there was more debris. That's probably the big thing is there's more debris, and you can't travel quite as fast to move around, so you do have to be more cautious.
How was the fishing in this sort of situation?
Anytime the water high, you can pretty much assume that the fish are going to be scattered compared to normal. And I think they found that, and they caught a lot of fish. I mean, these guys are catching, 30 or 40 fish a day, somewhere in there, most of them. And, even during pre-fishing, they was catching about the same, but they was catching smaller fish. So they had their hands full trying to find the big fish.
Tell me how this tournament series works. This is a one-day tournament. Do they bring in their like top 5 fish, their top 8 fish for each boat, and that's the weigh-in, or do they bring in all the fish they catch?
It is a 5-fish weigh-in. You can only bring 5 fish. They must be alive. And every lake's a little bit different as far as their limits and their size. We have the smallest size that they can bring in is 15. That's a Cabela's King Cat rule. But then there's other limits as far as over inches, etc., and that changes from lake to lake. This one didn't have one.
Okay, let's talk about who the winners were and how much fish they brought in.
These guys, Paul Seifer Jr. and Edward Duplass, they brought in 5 fish, and they had some nice fish, and they had 103.12 pounds. And they barely beat out that second place team that came in with 102 and 18.
Well, I understand that winning team from Pennsylvania also brought in the big fish of the day, a 53.5 pounder. So their combined paycheck was what, $2,500 or so?
$2,500. With that size of the tournament, that's a good payback for them. They did excellent.
I'd be happy with $2,500. I think most people listening today would as well. Now, here's the other question, though. I mean, this is a smaller tournament, but everybody wants to be in the 2020 King Cat Championship. That's October 30th through the 31st this year at Milford Lake in Kansas. Are the winners, Paul Seifer and Edward Duplantis, do they have a berth now because they won this?
The top 10 at our single local events, which is one-day tournaments, the top 10 qualify for the national championship. So, yeah, they'll get to be going to Milford, Kansas.
And not only that, prize money is a lot more serious in that championship, too. Just how much money is involved there?
The King Classic is $120,000 in prizes and money. Excel boats, we give away to first place team a decked out Excel boat. So they really make out well, and it's one great boat. I don't know if you ever got to see our Facebook page here recently. Within the last month, they have put up a video up there of trying to sink one. And if you haven't seen it, go to our Facebook page at King Cat USA and check that out. That's what we're going to do in Milford. We've got a single day. We had to reschedule their single day tournament to October 2. So these guys are going to get to go and fish it one day, and then a few weeks come back and for the championship.
Oh, fantastic. Great opportunity to do a little bit of pre-fishing. In the meantime, folks, definitely check out that video on the King Cat USA Facebook page. And if you want to find out more about this series and maybe try your hand at competing as a tournament catfish angler, go to King Cat, that's with K's, kingcatusa.com. That's the website for the Cabela's King Cat Tournament Series. Bobby, always a pleasure. Thanks for sharing this with us today on America Outdoors Radio.
John, appreciate it. Y'all have a good one out there. Come fish with us.
Next, I need to give you an update from our friends at the Front Sight Firearms Training Institute. Because of COVID-19 restrictions and how many people are allowed in any one place at one time, they've had to close their training for this summer. You see, they train hundreds of people a week at their expansive facility near Las Vegas, Nevada, and currently they're only allowed to have 50 people on site at a time. When you go ahead and do the math with the staff and safety instructors, there's not a whole lot left for students. So they are closing down for the summer. They plan to reopen as soon as they can, probably late summer, early fall. But I've got good news. Those free 4-day defensive handgun courses, they are still available. You can still sign up for them. You don't have to use them this summer. You can use them anytime. They just want to get you into the door, get you trained, help you become the competent, confident, and trained firearms owner you want to be. The website to go to sign up, frontsight.com/outdoors. That's frontsight, site spelled sight.com/outdoors for an absolutely free 4-day defensive handgun course you can take worth $2,000 near Las Vegas, Nevada, courtesy of the Front Sight Firearms Training Institute. We've got one last reminder about our fishing giveaway we are doing. We're giving away $600 worth of gear and tackle to 4 lucky winners. All you have to do to enter is number 1, go fishing. Number 2, take some pictures while you're fishing. And number 3, go to our Facebook page at America Outdoors Radio. Look for the post thread where we've got all the pictures on this giveaway and just add your picture to it. If you want to let us know where you caught the fish, maybe how big it is, that's great too. We're all about bragging here. When it comes to fishing, we understand that completely, but share those photos. You can do so once a week, and every time you do, you are entered for a chance to win either a $400 plus ultralight fishing float tube from Wilderness Light, which includes the stuff sack, the air pump, and the fins, or you can win lure and tackle packages worth $60 to $75 each from our friends at Christensen's Lakeshore Tackle, Max Lure, or TTI Blakemore. The contest ends on June 30th, and we will draw 4 lucky winners on July 1st. So don't miss out on this. It's a great excuse to go fishing. We've got to go, but as we do, not only do I hope you go fishing, but I hope you can spend some contemplative and peaceful time outdoors and in nature. It certainly is a crazy world out there, and I want you to stay safe. I want you to stay healthy. I hope you are blessed and that our nation is also blessed and heals in the days ahead. So get away from all that bad news you're hearing and get outside to some peaceful and enjoyable pursuits. After all, it is your country and you're outdoors, so get out there and enjoy it.
Tillamook Bay is considered the greatest fishing experience on the west coast for fall Chinook salmon and winter steelhead, and Dungeness crab is plentiful. 5 major rivers connect with the ocean on the Tillamook coast. It's not unusual to snag a 40 to 50 pounder. Go out in a boat or stand on a riverbank or dock. Try fishing from a dory boat and experience the thrill of a beach launch and landing. Use spinners, sand shrimp, or salmon eggs to lure them. The fish will line up to grab your bait. Go to tillamookcoast.com/fishing to find guides and places to stay.